the link with Thiago.
Thiago linked back as well. And you know,
that's an interesting one.
It's a very interesting one because I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel terrible about it because I love him. Watching him play football is an erotic experience. He is sensational. But then you put yourself in his shoes for a second, and it probably makes a bit more sense. You know, at the age he is, it probably hasn't gone. You know, we love him when he plays, but it probably hasn't gone as well as he might have done. You know, he's got a young family.
That's what I mean. That's why I don't know how I feel about it, because if you look at it from a financial aspect, it's basically what was a 5 million up front and then 5 million a season. So we still owe, let's say, the guts of 15 million quid for Thiago Alcantara. So that would be 15 million quid that would be moved off the balance sheet. And look, there has to be a conversation around the injury-prone nature of our midfield and the age of our midfield, whether that be Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita from an injury perspective. That's why I'm saying I don't know how I feel about it, because of course nobody wants to lose Thiago.
I don't want him to go.
I also don't want Thiago playing 12 games a season.
I'd be really surprised if Liverpool even entertained it, you know, after a year.
And Thiago and Barca and everyone. The only reason why I think this makes somewhat sense is that maybe Xavi likes the style of play. But then let's break it down. They've got Frankie de Jong, who's a very similar style player to Thiago. But listen, between me and the Anfield Agenda community, if you want to do me a swap deal between Thiago and de Jong, just between me and you, might scran your hand off for it, the way that we scran a cheesecake. But Pedri started over Thiago in the Spanish national team. Sergio Busquets is one of the, if not the greatest holding midfielder in world universal football, but people don't give him the credit for it.
Gavi as well, haven't they, coming through? Who looks a special player.
They've got some young players. They've just whacked $1 billion on Pedri, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm not being funny. And they can only spend, a rumour that I've heard, 10 million in January. These are in some...
Mohamed Salah somehow.
And they think they're getting Mohamed Salah, Thiago Alcantara. And bear in mind, I don't know about you boys, there's two questions I'd like to ask. First off, how much would Thiago be sold for? Because we bought him for 20 to 25 million. Yet, that was because he was on the last year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a cut price. If we were to sell Thiago with a good few years left on his deal, ignore his time at Liverpool. If you go off the profile of player, you're looking at 50 million, which Barcelona are not going to be able to pay at the moment. They might pay it if they could, but they can't pay it. And the next question is, do you think Thiago, yes or no, has been a flop?
No, absolutely not.
I agree.
Too early to say.
And that's why.
It isn't too early to say.
And I think he's had more good games than bad games.
The last 10 games of last season, when we needed to win them,
he was brilliant.
Who was man of the match in probably 8 of them? Like, he was.
People forget that though, Steve. People forget that. And it's the same when Trent defends well. It's the exact same. Do you know when Trent defends well? It's the exact same energy. They won't give the credit for it. They'll only remember the opening 4 or 5 games where Thiago was getting yellow cards every single game, coming in with an anger issue.
Absolutely bossed. Those last 10 games, he bossed them.
He tears kids, lad. He's fucking boss. He makes everyone look like man-childs because he knows what he's going to do 20 seconds before you do.
Yeah.
Because he's already scanned the pitch. He knows where players are. He knows where they're going to be. That's the difference of a good player and a decent player. I'm not asked how much you can do a step over. I really do not give a shiny shite. It's why I don't put, like Neymar in the elites, like with the Messi, because he's got the ability. Ability-wise, he's there with Messi and whatnot, but in terms of being able to scan the pitch, even like when I've played my first year of Sunday League football, the best players was the ones who could read the game. The ones who would know where other people would be. That's the difference. And Thiago is that player and more. It's why I crave the trio of Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson. Give Henderson the licence to go forward. Give Fabinho the role to sit back and do what he does best, getting you from A to B, but then let Thiago pull the strings.
Is that the best midfield three in our heads? Because I have to, if I'm being really honest here, I thought about this last night after I finished the stream, and I sat here, and my initial instinct was exactly like James, Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson. But the more I think about it, I'm swapping Henderson for Elliott in my best midfield three if they're all fit. And
Henderson doesn't get out for Thiago for me.
Well, that's the team
Henderson
they played.
Doesn't get out for Thiago.
Isn't that the midfield they played against Leeds?
No, when we were fully fit at the start of the season, the midfield was Elliott, Henderson, and Fabinho.
No, Thiago played against Elliott, and Thiago played against Leeds.
He might have.
Because
Probably did.
everyone before the game was going, this game will be too fast for Thiago. And actually,
because I don't like Henderson on the left, gents. I don't like him on the left.
No, Thiago goes on the left. Henderson in the genie role, but he plays different. But I mean, that's where he will play. Henderson goes on the right as the more advanced midfielder, because we've been seeing Henderson in the holding role with Fabinho out or whatever it may be, covering Trent.
Seen him on the left, if you give him the license, when Elliott was on the right, and I didn't like it.
Dead strange. He is better on the right. I'll give you that one. But Elliott.
That game against Leeds, Thiago came in, and the chat before the game was like, Leeds play too quickly. They're going to be too fast for him. They're going to be too.
Yeah.
And then everybody seems to be forgetting that Thiago's been dealing with that for 10 years.